A new day dawns as Beheaded descends into the prisoner's quarters, possessing an already dead body. He picks up the gold bat and quickly moves onward, intent on doing a 5BC run. He opens the door and finds a necklace that is not, unfortunately, a double. And despite his prayers to his Lord and Savior, King Galor, he notices that he is being forced to do a Death Scythe run. He decides to pick the Death Scythe tube with Tornado, Rampart Shield, and Diverse Deck. He quickly works on switching Diverse Deck to Electrodynamics to build up the electrifying orbs that will be so much help in the coming futile acts of violence. He finds a necklace with a good scroll, picks it up and sells his old one to quickly continue on committing these acts of violence. He finds food to save for later in case he gets hit, but he's a gamer, and therefore he shall not get hit. Hopefully. He quickly dispatches an elite and sells the necklace it drops, moving on to quickly defeating other enemies. He finds a good scroll, picking it up and choosing survival, or he would be stupid not to. He moves down onwards to the path towards toxic sewers, quickly defeating and killing anything and everything that stands in his way. He notes that toxic sewers is incentivized, but continues onward throughout prisoners' quarters anyway, but then quickly realizes he could get both doors, but notes that he does not have both scrolls, so he continues onward anyway to find the second scroll. He scratches up another cherry and sells it, but then realizes there's a chest, of which he shall take, because why not, and sells the shield inside for he has no need. He comes across more enemies and a good scroll. Finally, he can continue onward in his journey. He eats the watermelon and gets hit immediately after, for he is stupid. And then he finds a challenge rift, and he pogs in place for a moment, picks up the spike shield, slaps the Rampart shield in the backpack, and continues on to the rift. Choosing survival once again, he ponders for a moment and picks the necklace that comes out of the chest and switches his diverse deck to Foresight. Not having an extra jump in his necklace, he must be extremely careful in the challenge rift, for at any moment he could need it, but then die if he is not careful. Expertly, he makes his way through the rift, dodging and rolling without taking any damage. And after the rift is done, he quickly works on changing his diverse deck back to Electrodynamics. Going downward, he dispatches even more enemies along the way, getting hit a few times, but it does not matter, for he does not care. The Beheaded quickly sells the parry shield and moves onward. The Beheaded teleports upward, spotting a cherry that he could eat. He detaches his head, eats the cherry, and moves on to toxic sewers. The Beheaded knows of the toxic sewer secret, picks up the gold, and then descends downward, switching his deck of cards to electrodynamics, going in the 30 kill door, and picking Ice Grenade and selling Tornado, which is bound to make a certain someone very happy. Knowing exactly what to pick, he scrolls down and picks Gastronomy. Intent on quickly moving onward into toxic sewers, he skips everything else. Immediately, the area around him is descended into chaos and blood by his merciless killing of the local wildlife. And with the wildlife not seeing it coming, the death scythe make quick work of it. Finally, he uses his Ice Grenade to get the third electrodynamic orb, and he quickly moves on to mercilessly kill everything around him. He digs up some gold, and again, fights more enemies. He quietly ponders what electrodynamics must taste like. Would it be electrifyingly delicious, maybe? The Beheaded finds a scroll fragment, followed by more enemies afterwards. He also notes how satisfying it is to kill the disgusting worms and hearing the grenades pop around them. But in all actuality, it does not matter, for he, at this point, is death, and nothing can kill him. He finds a dual scroll, but unfortunately, it does not have a survival scroll. But it does not matter, for he wants the health anyway. Picking tactics for health, he moves onward to kill more things, activating another portal, and mercilessly killing other monsters. He finds another death scythe, noting that it is both electrified and poison energy. He replaces it with his own and moves onward with this more powerful tool. He spots a little treasure room and decides to sell Wave of Denial, where he has no need of either skill. He rolls the survival shop, but quickly moves on, for he has no need of a better weapon just yet. He spots another challenge rift, interested. He wonders if he'll get more throughout the run. But alas, he saves it for later. He finds the Ramparts exit, but that is not where he wants to go. Instead, he goes downward, finding another scroll and picking Survival. He quickly moves toward prison depths. Corrupted prison, but notes that it is cursed and quietly swears to himself, "Why? Why, Gabe?" He finds a chest, opens it, and sells the light speed inside, having no need for an item like that. He finds yet another good scroll, rolling again for survival and moving on. He quickly makes work of more enemies, but accidentally lets one turn into an elite. But it doesn't matter, for he makes quick work of it, kills it, and moves onward. He finds another elite, which separates into two, but again, it does not matter, for he can make quick work of it. All the enemies are perishing under the Beheaded's might, and he does not care. For he is power, and that's all that matters. And despite not doing scroll manipulation, he finds a good dual scroll. But he decides to pick health instead for comfy survival. He quickly moves on, noting that that would make a lot of people angry, but he does not give a shit. For he likes health, and it's funny for the memes. He dispatches more enemies, picking up a little piece of gold on the way, and moving onwards to the next part of the sewers. He finds another scroll fragment, and noting that he has made a 98 kill streak so far. The malaise is becoming a bit annoying, but it does not matter, for he is a gamer, and gamers never quit. He digs up more money and moves on to quickly kill more enemies without mercy. At this moment in time, he ponders, what is even the point of all this killing? Does it even matter at the end of the day? For in all actuality, it does not. Nothing matters. He finds a spoiler item and quickly sells it, for he has no need to spin to win. He checks the map, sees Taunt, and decides Taunt is not even worth the time it'll take to sell, and quickly moves onwards. Noting that there is very few enemies left, he decides to ignore them and just do the challenge rift instead, switching again to Foresight to negate some damage if he gets hit, picking survival with the good scroll and selling the necklace. Focusing, he gets hit and switches and gets hit again, but it takes the barricade health and not his own, so therefore it does not matter. For the Beheaded is a smart wild creature and outsmarts the... Holy fuck, the iframes. For he is smarter than the challenge rift. And as the challenge rift gets done, he quickly switches back his deck of diverse deck to electrodynamics. He eats the good cherry and deciding that sure, he should do Cursed Corrupted Prison, he goes down and descends into madness, screaming inside to stop giving me the fucking cursed biomes. Proudly, he walks through the 60 kill door, noting that everything he's got is garbage, and proceeds to sell the spoiler item for the max amount of money. For again, he has no need to spin to win. He skips re-rolling modifiers for he has no need, and instead re-rolls for What Doesn't Kill Me and Damn Vigor for the maximum amount of protection to not fucking die. Quickly, he sends out his ice grenade and picks up the cursed jest, switching out the spike shield for frontline shield and selling the Ramparts. Picking survival, he quickly goes onward into the depths of fucking insanity. Narrowly avoiding a couple of hits, it is fine, for he is a gamer. He quickly lifts his curse, but then gets cursed again. But then lifts that curse, so he is fine. But overall, this place gives him anxiety. But still, he goes into this area without any sort of hesitation, for he must, and therefore he shall. He parries the Doombringer's attacks and quickly dispatches them, for he has no care in the world. He narrowly avoids dying once again from a curse and continues onward like nothing fucking happened. But alas, he gets another curse. And narrowly avoids death via getting cursed again. He encounters Elite and narrowly avoids death with fucking cursed damn vigor. Picking up the better scroll, he moves onward with his curse lifted and a sense of intense danger. He sees another challenge rift, opens it, and prays to fucking high heaven that he finds some food that he can eat. Finding another elite, he quickly dispatches it, debates the new amulet, but decides against grabbing it. The Beheaded notes that the Death Scythe is unfortunately cursing the fuck out of him. But that's okay, for he is a gamer. He encounters a slammer, which he narrowly avoids dying from. But that's okay, And again, he is saved by damn vigor. Relieved, he moves onward, hoping that there are no more enemies, and glad that yes, there are no more enemies. Holy fucking shit, dude, that was rough. He has no need for any of the items here. Selling the mushroom boy, silently contemplating what mushroom boy would taste like sauteed. Moving onward, he quickly goes to eat the cherries for more health before attempting the third challenge rip of the run. Oh my god. Not exactly confident, the Wild Beheaded changes his diverse deck to barricade, to hopefully mitigate some potential damage he could take. Going the wrong way, he quickly climbs back up and proceeds to go the correct way without taking any damage. But he does not know how long that would last for. And it doesn't last long, but luckily, barricade was there to keep him safe for now. Expertly, he quickly moves through the rest of the rift, noting again this fucking area, the stupid spikes. But luckily, it wasn't that bad. And quickly, again, changes his diverse deck back to electrodynamics. He makes his way back to the portal, quickly checking the map to see that ancient sewers is cursed, and therefore, he decides to go to Ramparts. An interesting decision from the Wild Beheaded, but it does not matter, for he is a gamer. Using a bit of cash to re-roll, he grabs Necromancy, What Doesn't Kill Me, and Berserker, and quickly moves on to go to annihilate the local wildlife in the beautiful Ramparts, unknowing unknowingly, the enemies die by his hand. Unaware of the dangers that lurk just around from the Beheaded's own weapon, for he is death himself, with a lot of fucking health. Oh my god, this is stupid. As luck would have it, he would find yet another good dual scroll, but he has no care for more DPS. He only cares about health, and therefore picks health over anything else. An elite spawns, and as he uses his ice grenade, he quickly dispatches it, killing it without mercy. Unfortunately, more elites are here and burst into two, but luckily it does not matter, for the Beheaded is a game. The Beheaded comes across a trap chest and quickly dispatches all of the enemies without a second thought. It seems like he doesn't even need his shield with all of the DPS that it is doing. Because it does not matter, for he is strong as fuck. Continuing onward, he goes back up and collects a fourth fragment for a good scroll. And finally, he picks survival once again. He collects even more money as he descends back into the ramparts, narrowly avoiding some Inquisitor attacks. He wonders why exactly Inquisitors were put into the game, because they're so fucking annoying. But it doesn't matter, for the Wild Beheaded has to deal with them anyway. Again, he continues onward, finding a new good scroll. And once again, picks survival. Noticing he is being chased, he quickly kills off the approaching enemies, and then accidentally dunks into a bottomless pit that the ramparts have. Because he has a skill issue. But it does not matter, for the Beheaded has a fuck ton of health, and he quickly regains this health through necromancy. He finds another good scroll, and starts dispatching even more enemies with absolute 100% ease, with no care in the world. The Beheaded finds his way to Black Bridge, but decides to go back up in case there is more, like another scroll or a good item. Instead, he finds a scroll fragment and continues again on his way forward in his journey in Ramparts. It seems like nothing can survive his merciless brutality of his survival might. It seems like nothing can survive his merciless brutality of his survival might, even when he is doing comfy survival. And that thought alone makes the Wild Beheaded happy with true delight of absolutely murdering his own enemies, aka the local island wildlife. For once, he is nice to a couple doors and treat them respect, and opens them nicely, but then proceeds to murder everything else around him. He comes across another elite, but quickly dispatches it without a second thought. He finds a necklace with 2 good scrolls, but he decides to sell it because comfy survival. He continues on his way downward and finding another good scroll. Noting that Explorer's instinct pops, he finds that yet another health scroll is on the map. He runs toward it, grabs it, and picks tactics for the most amount of health. He also notes that there is a cursed chest and is quietly screaming and dying inside because he might not have enough enemies to deal with it. He kicks open the door and prays, but unfortunately, there is no enemies inside the door. He debates on what to do for a moment, knowing that he will not be able to flawless any of the bosses. So sadly, he must leave the cursed chest behind. For he has no balls and does not feel like sweating over a cursed chest. He does find a legendary weapon though, but quickly sells it, for he only wants to use Death Sight to harvest the souls of his enemies. Taking a moment and debating on where to go, he finally decides to go He decides to go to Conjunctivius for more scroll fragments. But then realizes it doesn't matter because he does not care. But he still goes anyway because he can. He feels like suffering, and suffer he shall as you go through the 60 kill door, contemplates what Mushroom Boy tastes like, and then sells Maria's cat. He contemplates what he should take for a moment, but decides that his mutations are good enough and continues onward to the insufferable crypt, where a horrible monster lies in wait. The Beheaded, knowing what is coming, opens the door fearlessly to confront his disgusting foe. Immediately, the battle starts. And having a melee weapon, it takes quite a while. He decides to replace his frontline shield temporarily with the spiked shield for a bit more DPS, but he takes an electric shock straight from Conjunct herself, but it doesn't matter, for he has a fuck ton of health. He uses his ice grenade to slow down Conjunct, engaging in her tentacle phase. With a couple parries, he is able to regain his health easily. He takes a hit, but it does not matter, for he is a gamer and knows what the fuck he's doing. Although some people may not think so, for he has taken a couple more hits. He waits, parries, and then attacks again to start her tentacle phase once more. Quickly, he depatches the tentacles, regaining his health with easy parries. He takes another hit, but again, easily regains his health with parries. And finally dispatches the disgusting monster living in the sewers once and for all. He picks up the survival scroll and replaces his spiked shield with a really fucking better one. And to make some people proud, he sells the tornado without a second thought. He contemplates Graveyard and Slumbering Sanctuary for a moment and decides, why not? Let's go to Sanctuary. It could be a massive mistake, but who the fuck cares? It's a game. And therefore he proceeds onward. Forever onward. Forever forward. He keeps the mutations he has, realizes he gets the bank, and decides, why the fuck not? For he has only done the bank once in his videos, and he wants to showcase the bank in its fullest. So the Wild Beheaded proceeds to go down, pick up the key, and use the elevator. Multiple times. Already familiar with the bank's bullshit, he quickly goes downward and faces off the unnecessarily strong foes. He grabs the cursed chest and prays to fucking God that he does not die. He debates the Thunder Shield and decides to put it in his backpack over the front line and takes the scroll for survival. Carefully, he proceeds back to where the enemies are. Very, very careful. He picks up another scroll, picks green, and goes onward to kill some enemies. He takes full use of his ice grenade to kill enemies. Easily, he lifts his curse and goes onward to activate the portal and head back to dispatch more enemies with his merciless killing and lust for blood. Even with his weakened death life of a level 6 actually, he is dealing some rather insane damage, especially when he has picked Comfy Survival. He finds yet another tornado and immediately sells it to make a certain person very happy. He finds yet another health scroll and rejoices at the huge amount of health that he now has. For now, not only is he strong, but he is also healthy. Very healthy. In fact, that he can tank, hopefully, just about anything. Quickly and efficiently, the Wild Beheaded makes his way through bank and picks up the second elevator key, checks the map, and notes that he needs to go down, down, and down. He quickly finds another good scroll, picking survival yet again, finally making his health over 10,000. He finds yet another elite, but these elites do not faze him anymore, for he is all-powerful. He finds yet another necklace, but sells it, for it is not a necklace that he desires. He picks up another scroll fragment and quickly picks survival for more damage. Because only dual scrolls need to be converted into health. Everything else can be survival. He finds yet another elite, but quickly kills it, for even with putting good dual scrolls into health, he is strong as fuck. Making quick work again of the local wildlife, he finds yet another good scroll, and a little challenge to pick up his second key. He picks it up and makes his way upward to activate the teleporter and get the exit on his map. But he is not done, for he has 2 more areas to explore, and to finish the current area that he is in. For he has forgotten to go right and upward. He finds a little birthday Gillian and quickly gives him a couple of coins to make it happy. For he is not always a murdering psychopath. He can be nice sometimes. He notes that upward is simply but a stupid lore room, and so he continues onward to his real path. Onward and upward to use the green key. Guys, this is so stupid. I don't know how I could have done this for this long. Continuing onward, he starts making quick work of the enemies in the third door. Not even the gold gorgers make him fearful anymore. For he is too strong and too cool to even care. He teleports back to the beginning of the area to go downward. And comes across the challenge area, but he has no need of it, so he teleports back to the elevator to go all the way down to the last area. Finally, he makes it downward and uses 2,500 gold to pay for the door to open it. Because he knows he will be making a fuck ton more money, as he already has in this area, that will more than pay for the lost gold. He notes the elite, but quickly makes work of it, and sells the amulet drops, and eats the cherry to regain the health he lost in the fight. For he is too strong for even an elite gold gorger to even deal any damage. For he is too pog to be weak. He finds yet another necklace, noting that it has indeed 2 good scrolls, but sells it anyway because he does not give a shit. He finds a better death scythe and replaces it with his own. Luckily, it was free and he did not have to be spending money on a new one, and he can be stingy, as one should be. He finds the bag lore room, but he already is aware of the fact that bank always has a mimic. Not caring about anything else, he teleports to the exit and swiftly exits the bank, for he is satisfied. Obtaining the 60 kill door, he walks through the 60 kill door, spots emergency door, yells door, sells it, and proceeds to leave. Checking the map, he wonders where he should head to next. For no area is cursed, luckily. He ponders for a moment. And decides to go for a forgotten sepulcher. The Wild Beheaded descends into the deep darkness of the sepulcher. He quickly looks around for the guaranteed curse chest, realizes he misses it, goes back, and grabs it. He sells the cleaver, picks up the scroll, and switches his deck of cards to Foresight. He avoids the elite and quickly makes his way through the darkness and narrowly avoids getting hit. Holy fuck. With nerves racking him, the Beheaded proceeds down the dark path, careful and awaiting some bullshit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Foresight got filled up right exactly as I took that hit. Holy shit, dude. Getting back into character, the narrator continues to narrate the Beheaded's actions as he picks up a scroll and then quickly dispatches the enemies around him. Quickly, he starts working on switching his deck of cards back to Foresight. Not Foresight. Electrodynamics. And then realizes he got a fucking second curse chest. He sells the spoiler item inside, picks up the scroll, and prays to fucking God that he does not get hit. And while he traverses the darkness of the sepulcher, internally, the Beheaded is screaming inside about why, just why, did he get a second curse chest. But it doesn't matter, for he is all good. Oh, it doesn't matter, for he is all good. And clears the second curse as easily as he picked it up. The Beheaded leaves the malaise-tainted food on the ground for later in case he gets hit. And finds yet another health scroll. And picks tactics yet again to fulfill his health desires. Quickly making his way through the sepulcher, he comes across yet another shop and rolls for a death scythe, level 10. He leaves it there, intent on picking it up later, for the shop is behind a door and therefore it cannot be mimicked. Carefully, the Wild Beheaded makes his way across the sepulcher's various traps and is rewarded with another good scroll. And then he makes his way to continue murdering the various Sepulcher wildlife that is featured in this area. Easily making quick work of everything. He does not need new skills and continues onward. For now, for he does not know if that shop is mimicked. For he has not found a mimic shop yet, but there could still be one. And he comes across yet another good health scroll and picks, this time, brutality to maximize his health gain. Finally, the Beheaded comes across the second crypt key needed to unlock the door to continue further. Checking the map, he notices an emergency door on the map and wants to sell it. For a moment he pauses, yells, "Door!" sells it, and continues onward. He picks up another scroll fragment and then proceeds to murderize the local Sepulcher wildlife, getting hit in the process, but it barely does any damage. Almost succumbing to the darkness, the Beheaded barely makes it in time to a lantern, descends to find an elite, and immediately murders it and sells the necklace, because his necklace gives him more health. The Beheaded gets confused for a moment, checks the map, and realizes he needs to go to the teleportation room to activate the teleporter to check the map properly. He finds out he has missed a little treasure room, goes back to get it. For more money, obviously. For he is a greedy little bitch and wants it. Noting that there is no lore room indicating a mimic, the Beheaded goes back to buy the Death Scythe and sells his old one. Then he makes his way to the skill shop to shop for better skills. And decides he wants to purchase the Death Orb over Ice Grenade. Then rolls again to buy the Barricade to upgrade his electrodynamics. Then the Wild Beheaded finally makes it back towards the giant room. He then proceeds to Guardian's Haven to fight the giant. Obviously obtaining the 60 kill door, he makes his way into the door and proceeds to contemplate his life decisions before picking up the necklace and seeing if it gives him more health, which it does, and therefore he takes it. He then decides to try and re-roll for Electrified. He gets it, but also gets health for double damage. He does not want that, so he tries re-rolling some more. And luckily, he does get it. Beheaded contemplates for a moment and decides that his mutations are good enough, so then he proceeds to Guardian's Haven. Quickly, he makes work of the giant after realizing he has pressed a couple wrong buttons at the beginning of the fight. He is not doing that much damage, but that is okay, for it does not matter. For he has a fuck ton of health. And with just a couple of extra swings, he has made quick work of the giant. He sells the frontline shield, debates the scarecrow sickles only for a moment, and sells them. For he knows exactly where he wants to go, and it's not High Peak Castle. He notices that Infested Shipwreck is indeed infested with cursed enemies, but that does not stop the Beheaded. For he is intent on giving people different content than just 5BC spoilers. So quickly, he makes his way down and into the shithole he is about to endure. And praise to God, he does not get cursed and die. Quickly, he realizes that he is indeed overpowered, so maybe it will, just maybe, it will be fine. Making quick work of the enemies in the Infested Shipwreck, he gets cursed, and praise to God, he does not die, which he doesn't, and therefore, he is a gamer. He finds yet another necklace that gives him more health, and therefore he takes it. Continuing onward, he finds a 4BC door and continues onward, ignoring it for now. For it is just a lowly door and he does not need to go into it. He is too OP to even give a shit. Moving onward carefully, he scouts the areas for any potential cursed enemies, to take care of those first. He hears one, parries a cursed missile, and then continues onward, getting cursed in the process. And silently, he swears, "Fuck my life," and hopes he does not die as he finds yet another health scroll. Oh, he sighs in relief as he gets rid of the curse and proceeds onward. Holy fuck, dude. Quickly, he makes his way through the biome, dispatching any and all enemies that come across his path. Not only with his death scythe, but simply from electrodynamics as well. And then he sells a cat where he has no need of it. Quickly checking the map, he realizes he missed a scroll fragment and goes back to grab it. He also finds an elite, quickly using the death orb to dispatch of it, and sells the necklace that it's dropped, because he has no need for it. Checking the map again, he realized he missed yet another scroll. He goes back for it, picks it up, and realizes he just hit a fucking spike because he is a dumbass. Noticing that there is a cursor, he dispatches of it easily and then moves on. He eyes another, better death scythe in the shop, but continues onward for now in case he finds a mimic lore room. And yet again, he finds yet another health scroll and picks brutality. For even more health, of which he has 27,000 of. Again, he finds yet another fucking cursor, but quickly dispatches of it without a second thought. Luckily, avoiding getting cursed while doing so. He finds yet another chest. Debates selling the taunt, but realizes it's just not worth it. Because, let's be for real, fuck taunt. The Wild Beheaded uses the teleporter to go to areas he has yet explored, and goes down to murder even more of the local wildlife. The Beheaded gets hit by accident, but it does not matter, for he is strong as fuck, and picks up yet another good scroll. Finally, after what seems like ages, Explorer's instinct pops and realizes he has a fuck ton more to go. So, he teleports back and continues onward. Making his way through the last bits of the Infested Shipwreck, the Wild Beheaded finds yet another scroll fragment, and then quickly starts dispatching more of the enemies in the area, getting hit in the process, and activating a couple of elites while doing so. But a well-placed death orb makes quick work of it. He checks the necklace and decides sure it is worth taking at the sacrifice of just a slight bit of health. Luckily, he has avoided a couple of more cursed enemies in proceeding with the area. And finally, the malaise is cleared and he can make his way to the lighthouse after he goes back to shop for the death scythe, of which he quickly buys and replaces it with his old one. And before he goes up to partake in the delicious watermelon, and then proceeds onward to the fated lighthouse to end the run. Knowing what's coming, he pays to re-roll his mutations first, and then pays to re-roll the Death Scythe, of which he gets 40% damage to electrified targets easily. He then grabs what doesn't kill me. He grabs disengagement, and finally gastronomy for the food that he can partake in when going upwards to the lighthouse. And finally, near the end of the journey, the Wild Beheaded rolls and breaks his way through pieces of wood to approach the devastating trio. Unfortunately, a fire has taken over the lighthouse, and he cannot fight them right there, because apparently lighthouses are made of wood and are very burnable, sadly. In just a couple of hits, he makes quick work of the Wrecking Ball Servant with his Death Scythe. Coming into the first fight, he simply summons a Death Orb and makes quick work of her. The Wild Beheaded watches her drink and teleports away, and he continues climbing upwards, failing a simple wall climb. The Beheaded drops her into a pit of fire, and then climbs a little bit upwards again to encounter Euterpe. The Beheaded takes a couple DPS from fire, but it does not matter to him, for he is a gamer. Going upwards, he attacks Euterpe a couple times until she is indeed dead for now, and then he can make his way upwards peacefully through the lighthouse. He easily eats the malaise-infected food, which is boosted from gastronomy before the fight. Taking the damage easily, he kills off both servants and watches as they drink and proceed upward yet again. Having no need to drink himself, he too proceeds upward, taking a couple of hits, but also dispatching the Wrecking Ball Servant in the process. He encounters Cleo, taking a couple hits, but dispatching her as well, with just leaving the Arrow Servant, which he dispatches of as well, making for a peaceful climb to the top the rest of the way, kind of, because he is bad at parkour. Easily, he eats the malaise-infected food for a bit more health and goes into the fight, fairly confident he won't die. He dispatches of Cleo easily and goes on to dispatch of the Wrecking Ball servant as well. After a couple of hits, and there we go. He has finally dispatched of the Wrecking Ball servant, which just leaves the bow servant. And finally, she has died. Selling all of the items he has given, he picks up one last good scroll and proceeds upward with a total of 34 and 2,600 health. Guys, this is so stupid. Finally, he approaches the boss. He rerolls for what doesn't kill me. Disengagement. And soldier's resistance. And finally, for the first time in the whole run, the Beheaded takes a drink from his flask and approaches the final boss. The Wild Beheaded ascends upwards into the crown, takes a moment to look upon the scenery, and wonders, why the fuck is he here? Skipping the text, he doesn't care, and proceeds to fight the Queen. Of which, it seems, the Beheaded is making pretty quick work of her. After a couple of quick attacks, he expertly dodges throughout all of them, and then proceeds to attack her more. And without needing to heal, the Beheaded easily dispatches her. And without a second care in the world, he thinks, "Long live the Queen," and ends her life. And finally, the Wild Beheaded may have a chance at hope. But what the Wild Beheaded does not know is that his hope is quickly diminished, as the ship he waves to is filled with the malaised enemies.